On the banks of the Mississippi, in Memphis, Capital One Bowl Week continues with the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Steve Spurrier looking for his first bowl win at South Carolina, while Houston Cougar fans are hoping that their team will win a bowl game for the first time since 1980. The 2006 edition of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl welcomes Houston, carried on the arm of their record-setting senior quarterback. He's thrown for more yards than any quarterback the last 4 seasons, and now Kevin Kolb and a talented group of receivers look for one last showcase performance. Steve Spurrier leads his South Carolina squad, along with its cock-and-fire offense, back to its second straight bowl game. The Gamecocks are led by dangerous wideout Sidney Rice and are hungry for their first bowl victory under the old ball coach. It's South Carolina and Houston in the 2006 AutoZone Liberty Bowl. It's the AutoZone Liberty Bowl as two very dangerous teams meet today in Memphis. The Houston Cougars, champions of Conference USA, taking the field as we speak. And their opponent today, Steve Spurrier's South Carolina Gamecocks. Hi again, everyone. I'm Bob Wischusen, in for John Saunders, who's under the weather today. And, John, we send you our best here with Doug Flutie and Craig James. And, guys, this is a fun place to be. I mean, this is a bowl game that two programs could not be more happy to be a part of. Thousands of fans have made the trek to Memphis from both South Carolina and from Houston, and they've watched two very good seasons from their respective clubs. First of all, Doug Flutie, for Houston, they've lost 3 games this season. They win a conference title. Their losses by a combined 8 points. They've got a heck of a quarterback.
They really do. Kevin Kolb's their quarterback, and he lets it fly. He's smart, decision maker. He's been in this offense for 7 years. He knows what he's doing with the ball. He's finally figured it out. It's his job to distribute the ball, get it into his playmakers' hands. Vincent Marshall leads those playmakers, and he just stacks up against the best quarterbacks in the country. He stacks up against all the seniors, whether it's touchdown passes, especially those interceptions. 3 interceptions all year long, Craig. I mean, I can't do that in one practice.
Well, he better have a big game today with the ball in the air, because he's going against the fun and gun man. That'd be Steve Spurrier. Steve Spurrier's offense will find a way to get in the end zone. Spurrier's been here before. He knows how to get his team ready to play. He's going to rely heavily on his quarterback, Blake Mitchell. Mitchell has had up and down games. His last 3 games have been positive. He has a receiver on the outside that can really help him. Sidney Rice is a young receiver that we'll talk a lot about today. At least if you're a South Carolina fan, you hope we mention his name a lot today, because the guy's outstanding. He goes up, he gets the football. I think we could see 2 high-scoring football teams on the field.
Only 5 losses this year for South Carolina, and all 5 losses came against ranked opponents in the SEC. Todd Harris is down on the field. Todd?
Well, Bob, in talking with Coach Art Briles of the University of Houston, he said this year's Liberty Bowl is not a confirmation or reward that the University of Houston football is back on track. He said this year, this is a business trip. We are here to make a statement. We are here to build a program. His goal is to get the program back to where it was in the 60s and late 70s, even in the 80s when our Andre Ware was rocking the high flat top and grabbing Heisman trophies. This is where Houston wants to be. He says this is the first step, putting them back to where Houston football should be.
Certainly dating ourselves when you talk about the high top fade that we saw some pictures of Andre Ware sporting, and there's a chance he might join us a little bit later on, guys, to talk about it. As South Carolina won the toss, they elected to defer to the second half, and Ryan Suckup bombs it deep in the end zone. Vincent Marshall with no chance to bring it out. So now let's take a look at the Houston offense.
I'm Anthony Quick-Six Aldridge, here to introduce the University of Houston high-speed offense led by quarterback Kevin Kolb, the general. Up front, we have Sterling Doty representing the offensive line, and at wide receiver, we have Vincent Sweet Pea Marshall. It's going down.
Hey, I hope we get a chance a little bit later on. Quick-Six Aldridge, he's a really good heart. We had a great time with him putting those lineups together.
He can fly.
Now, there are certain players on this Houston offense that can fly even besides Aldridge, although they start on the ground. To Jackie Battle, all 245 pounds of him, up the middle for 4 yards. And now we hear who South Carolina sports on defense after the next play.
At Kevin Kolb, though, he's such a field general. Brinkley and the guys on defense at South Carolina are expecting to pass. So interesting, the Cougars come out running the football.
Coming out with the bruiser, too. Battle is a big fullback-type runner downhill.
Cobb with a spread set. Shotgun formation to the near side. And a couple of yards shy of the first down on that completion to Avery as we check now the South Carolina defense.
Safety versus South Carolina. Our defense today is led by our defensive line and our mean defensive end, Jordan Lindsay. Our linebacking core, which is very strong, is led by our middle linebacker, Jasper Brinkley. Our defensive backs will be led today by great cover corner, Fred Bennett. We're going to try to put on a great show today, make some big hits and a lot of plays. Hope you enjoy the game.
Well, that play made by Byron Ely down the left sideline with a first down and then some. 3rd down and 2 turns into a big play for Houston.
Great reaction by Cobb. He saw that the receiver in the slot was uncovered, came out from under center, just gave it to him right now and let him run with the ball.
And you know what? Ely is one of those guys that's a tall, lanky receiver. They have a lot of them in Houston, but it's the decision-making of Cobb that you're talking about, Doug. Getting the ball out in his hands. A big, tall, strong receiver breaks the arm tackle.
Nobody covered down on him. Nobody slid out over the slot receiver. Cobb saw it right away, got the ball snapped, got it out of his hands and into the receiver's hands. Distribute the ball.
Well, as you pointed out, Doug, the numbers that Cobb has put up this season are frightening. Last year, 19 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. This season, 27 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. And we may be looking at a direct snap to Ulrich. And it's a reverse. Trying to turn the corner is Vincent Marshall. And not a bad job by the South Carolina defense to string that play out and avoid a big play. Casper Brinkley made the stop.
Marshall's one of the fastest players in the United States of America. And when you get the ball in his hands in space, you're going to see that Marshall knows to use the field. A lot of runners would stop and cut upfield. He just outruns what appears to be at least containment.
And now quickly down the sideline, easily a first down, is Ely.
We were wondering coming into this now if Houston could get away with this offense against an SEC opponent, a team with a lot of speed, which South Carolina has on defense, and they're walking it down the field just like usual.
Maybe you were wondering. I had no doubt that
you had no doubt. Okay.
Go back and listen to the open, big fella.
There you go.
2 high-scoring offenses.
Attaboy.
And now you can see as Cobb gets them set at the line, Cobb and the entire offensive line stood up and looked over towards Art Briles on the sideline to get a play call. And here it comes on 1st and 10. Wide open towards the end zone. And an easy touchdown for Vincent Marshall. It couldn't get any easier for Houston than that.
You know, he looks over to the sideline. Cobb looks over. They get the play. They're so relaxed in this offense because of the field general. Cobb is under control. He sees what's going on around the field, looks the safety off. Wide open down the seam. Marshall running right by him, Fred.
You know what? And it's poor play in the secondary. If you're going to let somebody run by you, you better have a safety over the top to help. There's no safety in the middle of the field. Marshall, with his speed, is a difference maker.
It looked to me like the corner was playing man-to-man, and the defender over the slot thought it was zone.
The extra point is good. We have barely played 2 minutes, and already Houston with a 7-0 lead. South Carolina to the offense. When we come back to Memphis, you're watching the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Barely catching our breath at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl as Houston in 2 minutes and 1 second go 80 yards in 5 plays, and they have the 7-0 lead. Vincent Marshall already on the board, a 39-yard touchdown catch, and this is a quick strike team, guys.
No doubt about it. They spread you out across the field. They get the ball out of the quarterback's hands. A lot of that has to do with his decision-making. He knows the offense so well. It's out in a hurry. He's got big play guys with it.
You know, when you talk about under 2 minutes, there's the Houston Cougars with 23. I mean, this is an offense. They ran the ball, had reverses on this series. I think they really put a lot of confusion and doubt and uncertainty in South Carolina's defense.
Have we figured out what they call this offense yet? Does it have a name to it?
Go to the paint.
Get to the paint. All the paint again. The paint's that stuff down there in the end zone.
Garrett Lefevre's kickoff coming down to Kenny McKinley at the 5. He gets to the outside, picks up the block, and is just tripped up shy of the 40-yard line. 3 receivers and an eye set on first down. Blake Mitchell at quarterback, and he goes to the air on first down. Dumps it over the middle and picks up about 8 yards as we check out after Leonard Stafford picks up the 8-yard gain. This South Carolina offense.
South Carolina starting tight end. We have an offensive line that's led by our leader, Chris White. And also we have an outstanding player in Sidney Rice, one of the best receivers in America. And today we hope to put up some points and get on a great show.
Andy Boyd needs to Take a lesson from Anthony Aldridge. About a yard shy of a first down. Corey Boyd.
He did an excellent job.
Forward progress out to the 49-yard line as Doug Flutie taking care already of somebody else's receivers.
Now, South Carolina offensively, we're going to see a little different look. They're going to be a little more two-back, run the ball in those draws, do some play action, more of a conventional pro-style offense.
I like Corey Boyd. He's a downfield runner, downhill. Very seldom you see him going backwards when he's getting tackled. I mean, he's a strong runner with great vision.
He does have a cast on his hand today. He banged that hand up against Clemson. And we'll see if it hurts him carrying the ball at all if it pops loose.
Forward progress for Boyd gave him a first down. And he is brought down just into Houston territory. A gain of 2, and here's the Houston defense.
How you doing? I'm Marquay Love, the anchor of the Mad Dog defense, bringing the hate, spreading the love. At outside linebacker, we got Wade Cobb, number 1, the long-haired hippie. Don't let the long-haired fool you, because he will do you. At free safety, we got Will Gully, the X Factor, coming down here knocking boys' heads off.
He will do you.
We really have to get some ESPN people down here to get these guys to come out of their shells when we ask them to do this stuff. Screen to the near side. And Corey Boyd very close to a first down at the 41-yard line of Houston. Brought down by Kenneth Fontenette. And he looks to be right at the first down marker.
It is so much fun, though, watching these young men do the lineups. You get to see the personalities. And in the meeting rooms, when you watch them do it, it's hilarious because they're nervous. It's hard.
It was awesome. I tell you what, when Anthony started going in, and he was getting down on himself. We're all in the. It was a blast. I tell you what, being at the games and meeting these kids is what it's all about.
A little bit later on, we'll show you some of the best of Anthony Aldridge. He was as entertaining as could be.
He already has a best of album out, huh?
That's right. Rice goes to the wide side. 1st and 10. Back to the ground, though, and Mike Davis gets the corner. He's at the 20. Finally brought down at the 16-yard line. Mike Davis had 2 touchdowns and 94 yards in the Florida game this year that South Carolina almost pulled out.
Watch to the right side, the zone stretch, and the linemen all matching up. There's a huge hole here. Receivers downfield. The linebacker has got to field from the inside out, and South Carolina now twice in a row has confused Houston's defense.
So they're gashing them. They were physical against Clemson. We saw them run the ball extremely well against Clemson. They're picking up where they left off.
Mitchell is given the first down. And back to the ground, and Corey Boyd. And Boyd again runs through a tackle and moves the pile down close to the 16-yard line, a gain of 8. He's a load.
This offensive line has been together now for 5 straight games. They finally settled on the right 5 guys up front. They're getting it done. They're even getting help from the wide receivers. They're getting, Brown's locked on. He's got his hands in. As long as they're inside the frame, he's good to go.
I think you need to figure out right now, don't try to strip the ball. He can hold on to it. You better get down to his thighs.
2nd down and a long 2. And again, the play clock down inside of 10 as Mitchell barks out signals at the line. Once again, it's to the ground. This is Mike Davis. He has a first down. Stays on his feet, and he's to the 5. Well, these South Carolina running backs do an amazing job of running through the initial contact.
He's running to darkness, though. He's looking for the contact. He's not running to daylight. He's putting his head down looking for he's a heat seeker.
He's running to darkness?
Running to darkness. Instead of running to daylight and making a miss, he's just running over.
He's doing the bear crawl. You hear that drill that the coaches made us do that never made sense? You never did it in a football game?
Look at him finish off on the ground right here. Even if he's finally tackled, he's still running. He's a root hog.
Is that what it is? Yeah, something like that.
1st and goal at the 5. The lone wideout is Rice. Instead, it's Davis on a toss. And he is brought down at the 5.
At the thighs.
Will Gully made the stop.
Man, what a nice job of Gully coming up. He says he's one of the Mad Dog defensive leaders.
Willie Gaston's a little confused on the coverage here, guys. Give me a call, give me a hand signal, something.
Well, especially covering Rice, you better know something before they snap the football.
Well, he wants to know whether he should be inside technique or outside. Hopefully he's outside and has inside help because he doesn't want to be one-on-one out there.
When you're in the press box as the D coordinator and you see your cornerback doing that and Rice is standing 3 yards away from him, how do you feel? Not too good. 2nd and goal at the 5. Again, Rice is the wide man at the top of your screen, number 4. He has put up scary numbers through his first couple of seasons. Instead up the middle, taking on initial contact and grinding his way down to about the 2 is Mike Davis. Philip Hunt and Ernest Miller combined to save the touchdown. Now it's 3rd and goal.
Pre-game, we're on the field. Doug and I are visiting with Steve Spurrier, and we're really watching Corey Boyd, and we're saying, man, Boyd's a heck of a runner. He said, hey, so is Mike Davis. He said 25 is a heck of a player. I got 2 guys who can tote the mail.
And he's proven it tonight. They're just alternating. It doesn't matter who's in there. Boyd's back.
It's Corey Boyd back in. 9th play of the drive coming up. 3rd down and goal just outside the 1. And an easy touchdown on the toss for Corey Boyd.
Boy, it is a statement when you walk into the end zone that easily. It is a statement to the guys up front and your fullback lead blocking.
There you go. Leonard Stafford, 39 with a kick-out block.
There you go. Even the pony could still trot through that hole.
I think, well, yes, I could. I could have run through this one here, but Stafford, 39 with a kick-out block.
Beautiful.
They logged the inside pursuit. Excellent drive by South Carolina.
Ryan Suckup is excellent at extra points as well. He made it. Okay, good. I feel better. We're tied at 7. 2:09 to go in the first quarter, and maybe it's not me.
So Steve did take care of his guys.
No, you're thinking it right now, though.
Oh, the onside kick?
You're thinking it, right?
What am I thinking?
Yeah, onside kick.
Oh, yeah.
It's Steve Spurrier.
Well, some type of pooch, something. You don't just blast it through the uprights, do you? I guess you do. There's a go through, let's see if he makes it.
They should give points for that.
Wide right.
If you kick the ball through the extra points, the field goal.
They called uprights.
Uprights. First game I've been to. They should give you points.
Kicking an oblong ball through a big H.
You smart aleck. I'll get you. It's a long game.
Coming to America.
1:58 to go in the first quarter, and there's a good chance I'll be up here in a 2-man booth or maybe by myself before we're done. We're tied at 7, and now back to work goes Kevin Kolb, the Conference USA Offensive Player of the Year, a unanimous selection. And here's Anthony Aldridge. It's rare that Aldridge is only able to pick up a few yards. That, a 3-yard gain.
Pretty good first quarter, huh, guys?
That will take us to the end of the first quarter. Well, there were some fireworks, and we are tied at 7. South Carolina and Houston in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl from Memphis. Both fans with plenty to cheer about through the opening 15 minutes. It's been a fun game so far. Capital One Bowl Week continues from here in Memphis. Houston looking for their 7th consecutive win. South Carolina looking for their 3rd consecutive win and their first bowl win under Steve Spurrier. We'll return to Memphis in a moment. Welcome back to Memphis. It's the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. We're tied at 7, set for the start of the second quarter. I'm Bob Wischusen, in for John Saunders, alongside Doug Flutie. Craig James, Todd Harris with us as well. And Houston faced with 2nd down and 11. Cobb to the near sideline, trying to tippy-toe his way. And looking like he did exactly that. A nice catch by Jerron Harvey, close to a first down. And guys, we have seen the best of both of these offenses through the first quarter or so.
Houston came out slinging it right down the field like there was nothing to it, like they've done it every week. And then South Carolina turns around and they're running the
I think Houston needs to get some running game going here. They don't have that on the ground right now. The little short control passes to the flats is what they're working with. But I think they really need to establish some semblance of a running game.
Great tempo to this Cougar offense, faced with 3rd down and 2 now. 4 receivers, design rollout on 3rd down and 6. To the sideline, making the catch is Avery. And he gets tripped up, or he might have gone the distance.
That's a touchdown-saving tackle by Bennett. I'll tell you what, this is all-out blitz again. By moving the pocket, they buy a fraction of a second, and this was a fraction from going the other way.
But watch here as Avery squats and sets, and it shows you the arm strength of Cobb, right? You know what? Because if that ball's not thrown with crispness, it's an interception going the other way.
Shoestring tackle there, buddy.
Carlos Thomas gambled and went for the pick. A gain of 16, 1st and 10. Shovel pass, and some running room. Here's Marshall. Inside the 30. Run out at about the 26-yard line for a gain of nearly 12 yards. And another Cougar first down.
We asked the Cougars offensive players if they had a playbook. They said no. We just go to practice and we draw it up and kind of go. That right there is creative. That was a heck of a play.
Nice little shovel pass, little hitch screens, little of everything. They really don't have a solidified playbook that they pass out to the players. They say we just run them in practice. Oh, look at this one.
4 players, all to the bottom of your screen. Wide right, Donnie Avery. He's the lone wide out at the top. And that's what Cobb wanted to go at first, and instead checks down to Perry McDaniel. Nothing there. Well, you mentioned 7 years in this offense for Kevin Kolb. He told us the benefit of exactly that.
Make it a little harder. You overthink things, you know, and being in the same system for 7 years, you can imagine I overthought a lot of things. And so it's finally taken me this long. It may have hurt me, honestly, to start the system in high school, because I just thought, man, I just got to keep learning. Well, you know, the play is simple from the very beginning. Just let it be itself and get it to the right players.
It's an interesting perspective. Almost hard to deal with the same system for 7 years because he thinks so much. Play action. Second down and long. And the ball knocked down at the line and intercepted. Picked off by Jordan Lindsay. What a great play by Lindsay.
Lindsay just reaches up and snatches it out of the air. He had the underneath route coming across.
First interception that Cobb's thrown in the last 131 attempts. And it wasn't necessarily one of those that you would think would be a traditional interception, but Lindsay's a big play guy that comes up big for South Carolina.
Just a huge play for South Carolina. And Cobb doesn't make bad decisions. This is not a bad decision interception. He's had all his interceptions this year have been off his receiver's hands or a ball that got batted in the air. And in this case, a defensive end reaching up, gets a little bump, starts up, he gives himself separation from the blocker, and reaches up and snatches it.
But he also knew what zone, where that passing lane was going to be, and that's why Lindsay made the interception.
Cobb now with 4 interceptions on the season and about 400 attempts. Looking for Rice, deep downfield, and finding him is Blake Mitchell. The first big play of the game made by Sidney Rice. You knew it was coming. Out of bounds at the Houston 26-yard line. That's a 53-yard gain.
Get a turnover, go for the throat. They've been running the ball well. First play after the turnover, play action, set your feet and hit Rice on the corner route. The wide side corner settled his feet just for an instant. Didn't give enough cushion to get back on the throw.
Safety better get over there. Ask Sidney Rice why he was better this year than last year, and he says, I'm just stronger. You know, I'm tough.
Kind of like you.
I don't know about that. I'm stronger at the dental table than I've ever been, but.
Well, Rice now well over 2,100 yards receiving for his career. Mitchell again going for Rice in the end zone. Knocked away. Coverage underneath from Willie Gaston.
Just a great release by Rice. He's 5 to 6 yards behind the defender, and the ball was just a fraction late or way underthrown. One or the other.
That's twice now that Rice has been open for a touchdown and the ball has been underthrown. The Cougars have got to figure out to get back. Or Mitchell's got to figure out to let the ball go.
For Gaston, that's the 45th time he has broken a pass up. He's #1 all time for the Cougars in passes defensed. Second down and 10 at the 26. This time the handoff. Mike Davis down to about the 21. The ball came out late. And boy, oh boy, did Shimon Meredith lay a hit on poor Ernest Mitchell, who was silly enough to pick up the loose ball. Well, he paid for it, probably hoping the whistle sounded a little earlier.
And down goes umpire Steve Burks. It was Steve Burks taking the blow.
I'll tell you what, this is the best tackle by an offensive lineman that didn't count.
That was a pancake. Third down and 6 after a 4-yard gain for Davis.
He is down. That was not a fumble.
Rice to the short side of the field at the top of your screen. Now joined by Kenny McKinley. Mitchell steps up, fires a bullet up the seam, and it's caught by Rice at the 10. First down, South Carolina. Ernest Miller, made the stop.
The discipline that Sidney Rice has on this route shows that he's just not a vertical player. He sets and squats right in the middle of the zone and doesn't run outside of the opening.
Gives himself a nice target for the quarterback, and the quarterback can stick it on him instead of leading them into trouble across the field. Nice job by Rice. making an easy throw for his quarterback. We like that.
You know, all receiver running backs do is try to make quarterbacks
That's
look
all they
good.
should do.
That's
all they should do.
That bling bling you got on your finger, that Heisman ring you've carried around Memphis, Tennessee all week.
How about this guy?
1st and 10 at the 12. Again, Mitchell to the air. Checks down to his back. Stafford tries to bull his way into the end zone. He's brought down at the 1. Leonard Stafford, who is a junior and has never carried the football in 3 years at South Carolina. That close to glory, and now looks like somebody else going to get the highlight.
That's because he looks like he should be playing right guard. But he catches the ball out of the backfield on these checkdowns for his zone, and he's getting good yardage, and that time always found himself in the end zone. He is a bull.
4 minutes gone by here in the second quarter, and it's 1st and goal inside the 1. The tailback is Mike Davis. Play action. Mitchell wide open back of the end zone. An easy touchdown for Robert Pavlovic. And the Gamecocks take the lead for the first time.
Pavlovic is not necessarily the guy that you would think of as going to run the routes. We saw him doing pat and go before the game, and he and the rest of these other big tight ends,
he runs the route, right? He's wide open. No one covered him, but he went up to his depth, turned, cut, broke, ran it. Very textbook route. Hey, you're wide open. No one's covering. Just turn around and look for the ball.
First touchdown of the season for Pavlovic, and a ball off the uprights, no good from Suckup.
What are you doing?
I didn't say anything. Before he kicked that one, I said nothing. I don't know if I should be blamed for that one. Ryan Suckup is now 1 for 3 on kicks today, including a missed extra point. So South Carolina has to settle for a 6-point lead as Mitchell executes the old ball coach's play call perfectly. Well, Ryan Suckup, I think, was a little angry based on his performance so far. He leaned into that one and buried it in the back of the end zone. No chance for Marshall. So the ball comes out to the 20-yard line for Houston. Now downtown, a jump ball on the sideline. Flags fly. Jerron Harvey made the catch. I think he was out of bounds. It was a nice throw from Cobb, but a flag thrown right at midfield.
Pass. Defense. Interference. Number 1. 15 yards. Final foul.
But at some point,
first down.
if Kevin Kolb can connect on some of these opportunities like this right here, you got some pushing. Let's see here. I don't know. I didn't see it.
If anything, it's just body language and pushing and trying to wall him towards the sideline. I don't know if you call this.
I don't see. I think Munnerlin turned his body back to the ball, and maybe because of his momentum with his body, got into the receiver.
You know, Harvey's 6'5", had a chance to go up and make that play. He's got to make an effort to make those jump balls and come down in bounds.
1st and 10 at midfield. The pitch out. Ulrich strung out. Picks up a couple of yards and gets hammered out of bounds. Does a flag come out? Jasper Brinkley hit him right on the sideline, and Ulrich went flying into the bench and goes under the drink table.
Man, that's a bowling ball going down the alley.
I tell you what, he's only 170 pounds, so if he gets stuck by Brinkley, he is flying, and he's into the bench in midair.
And let's check in with Reese Davis after this replay, as Ulrich is the penalty, guys.
It should be.
I think so.
Yes, that's a penalty.
I think so.
Hit him in the white stuff over there. You got to throw the penalty.
The white stuff.
Yeah, it'll be the out of bounds.
I see it.
I try to be real obvious for you, Doug.
Thank you.
And I
appreciate
two Boston
it.
College graduates up here.
Yes.
And so, it's a tough assignment.
We'll try.
We appreciate it.
We'll try and muddle along with you as best we can.
I need muddling.
2nd and 8 from midfield. Cobb steps up under pressure, somehow escapes the rush, and finds his man. What a play by Cobb. Cobb again, play action on 1st down. Looks downfield. Up the sideline, he has Ulrich. 1st down to the 16-yard line. Well, there's Ulrich as a receiver.
I mean, there's that little wheel route up the boundary, and Aldridge, I mean, he could flat out fly.
How about Kevin Kolb, though, looking right, taking the pressure away, stays right side, right, back with his head to the left side, and Aldridge is open.
That's knowing this offense. That's knowing his first read. He's looking right. He knows where Aldridge is going to be on the backside. He's probably run this play 1,000 times over the years. knows where everyone is on the field.
1st and 10 at the 16-yard line. A 5-man front for the Gamecocks. They run into it, up the middle, plenty of room for Battle. And he picks up 9 yards down to the 7.
Little wham coming from a halfback on the outside to the inside. Battle's a big dude. You know, we were talking about him. It said 235.
He looks 250.
Man, well, and Coach Briles says he thinks that Battle will play at 265 as a fullback in the NFL one day.
I trust him. I trust his opinion on it. He is a big boy, and he runs downhill. He's strong and physical.
2nd down and 1 at the 7. And still the Cougars in attack mode. It's Battle. Traps up the middle. 1st and goal for Houston as he gets down to the 4. Brought down by Marvin Sapp.
The same play to the other side of the field. And Houston needs to get a little physical up front and run the football.
It'll definitely take the pressure off their passing attack. It takes the pressure off the offensive line. Offensive linemen hate pass blocking all day long.
I got one for you. We came into this game and we were kind of thinking about the matchups, the SEC against Conference USA. Could Houston handle an SEC team? What would you think so far?
I say definitely. They're handling them up front and they're giving themselves a chance.
Cobb to throw at the goal line. An easy touchdown. Walking across the tight end, Mark Hafner. And we're tied at 13.
It's like they lost the tight end coming across on the underneath route.
Hafner starts on the right side over here, and he comes across going left on your screen. Kevin Kolb, again, Doug, knowing the offense, knowing where to look.
It's a man-to-man coverage, almost a pick play. It's just a lot of traffic in there, and the defender can't get through the traffic. Makes it for an easy touchdown. But it's not always an easy read. You got to see the guy gets turned loose.
And the extra point from Ben Bell is good. And that extra point gives the Cougars the lead. 14-13. Back and forth we go. 2 tight ends coming up with touchdown catches in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. 2nd touchdown pass from Kevin Kolb gives Houston the lead back 14-13. The margin right now, a Ryan Suckup missed extra point. He also has a missed field goal. And as a result, South Carolina leaving 4 points out on the field, trailing by 1 with 6 minutes and 12 seconds to go before halftime. This is the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. I'm Bob Wischusen in for John Saunders, who is...
John's at home, says he's ill. He's probably protecting his 2 daughters from a couple of guys wanting to come over and go out on dates with him.
Here with Doug Flutie, Craig James, and Todd Harris. And it's been a great first half so far as Lefevre leans into a high kickoff that comes down to Munnerlyn, left-sided about the 8. And he's hit at the 26 and wrestled down at the 27. Boyd motions out of the backfield as Mitchell steps up in the pocket and tucks it under. Nowhere to go with the football, and he's forced to take a sack. Cody Pree, a sophomore from Hooks, Texas, brought him down. A loss of 6.
And it was coverage back in the secondary. The Cougars secondary really did a nice job of finding manned up, staying with them, and then the defensive line of that Mad Dog defensive line. What's our guy's name? Love, Mark Wade?
What did he say about spreading the love?
Spreading the love.
Spreading the love.
More than that. He had a little saying there.
We'll get it down. We'll get it down.
I have to think a mistake might have been made there as well by Carolina. On the replay, you could see 2 receivers, one in front of the other, only about 3 or 4 yards apart.
I think, honestly, they misread the coverage. They thought it was a cover 2 and it was man-to-man underneath.
The inside catch made by Savell Newton. So the former quarterback, now the free safety, comes off the bench, catches a pass, and picks up 7 yards. And, of course, he is one of the players in a very, very select group. 4 players in college football history at some point have ran for, thrown for, and caught for 600 or more yards, and he's one.
Blake Mitchell started the season as the quarterback, wasn't getting it done. Newton came in, played quarterback, now has gone back to defense, and just a really outstanding athlete.
3rd down and 9. 4-man rush. Mitchell underneath looking for Rice, knocked away. Kenneth Fontenette forces South Carolina to punt the football away.
Great job by Houston defensively. They're playing a 2 deep coverage, which appears it could be a zone, maybe man. They go man-to-man underneath. He's playing inside leverage because he knows he has help over the top, and they're just locked on man. They're not afraid in this coverage. You're not afraid to get beat deep. You got deep help. So you play the underneath route tough.
It all goes back for me. University of Houston, Art Briles going forward on 4th down from his own 30-yard line. You know what? His team just kept the momentum that they're now carrying on.
Eventually turned into a touchdown drive that gave the Cougars the 1-point lead. This is the first punt of the afternoon. Ryan Suckup, not only the place kicker, but also the punter, averaging nearly 44 yards per kick this season. And he has one roll, takes a mild South Carolina bounce inside the 20, down close to the 15-yard line. A 46-yard kick, no return. Houston with a 1-point lead. Back to the offense when we come back to Memphis. Cougars lead the Gamecocks in the first half of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. And the Gamecocks and Cougars both very much getting into the spirit of what bowl weeks are all about. For a long time, before AutoZone was a part of the Liberty Bowl, it was the St. Jude Liberty Bowl, because St. Jude's Children's Hospital has always been involved with this game here in Memphis. And the Houston football team went and spent some time with some children at this time of year that we all become very much aware need a smile. And the Houston football players did their best to try and provide exactly that. And you certainly see this bowl games all around the country. Players get out in the community and spend some time with some folks that need a smile at the holidays. But much more guys acutely aware of it in this city, because St. Jude's Children's Hospital has always been a part and closely affiliated with the Liberty Bowl.
Oh, it's a big part of this community down here in Memphis. And back when in '83 we visited St. Jude's as well when we came to the Liberty Bowl in '83 to play Notre Dame. But I'll tell you what, we heard the kids talking in the elevator about the visits, and they were fired up about it.
Well, it's such an impact on these young men that are out there, that to see what goes on at this hospital and taking care of the kids, and you could tell they really impacted it. They felt it.
The maturity level. I mean, it's amazing the maturity in these kids and the way that really it struck them.
Aldridge with a gain of a couple, lost the football. South Carolina thinks they have it, and they do. Anthony Aldridge, an innocent enough looking play into the line, but the ball was pulled out. The turnover inside Houston's red zone. And now South Carolina with a chance potentially to take the lead before halftime.
Spoke about the momentum that the University of Houston had after going for it on 4th down. Ball comes out. From that angle there, the ball was out. It was a fumble.
Jordan Lindsay recovered it, but it was Lemuel Jean-Pierre that stripped the ball away and forced the fumble of Anthony Aldridge. 3 minutes to go in the first half. Davis motions out of the backfield. Mitchell looks to the end zone for Rice. Back corner. Caught. Touchdown. Rice used every last inch of real estate to drag a foot. 19-yard touchdown strike. One play after the fumble, and the Gamecocks have the lead back.
Great throw by Mitchell to the back corner of the end zone. This time he gets it out there, out in front of the receiver. Great catch, dragging the feet.
Left foot is in.
Both feet.
6'4", gets to the back and settles, waits on the ball. Ball delivered. Twice now he was underthrown. This one here, nice ball by Mitchell.
What a catch by Rice. Suckup's extra point is good. 2:53 to go in the second. Extra point, but here's Rice once again going to work.
Corner knows he has deep help. He's going to let him go. The safety's nowhere to be found.
But there's no deep help over at the pylon at that back corner there.
Safety's got to get off the hash mark and eye the quarterback and break on the throw.
That's a mighty long way for that safety to go to try to get with Sidney Rice. Now you got 13 points off 2 turnovers by the University of Houston.
And boy, there were very, very happy South Carolina fans gathered around that television. There is some kind of hatred between South Carolina and Clemson.
It is a genuine.
A low kick from Suckup, and it's fielded by Marshall. Great field position coming for Houston as Marshall gets all the way into South Carolina territory. He caught that ball on the dead run on the bounce at about the 20-yard line and returned it 31 more yards. So now 2.5 minutes to go before halftime. Great field position at midfield for Kevin Kolb. who's given time, looking for Ulrich. He threw it well outside the boundary.
I think Kevin misread the coverage or the route that was going on, because the play should have gone inside to Harvey, number 1. Pushed it up the field for the vertical.
Looked to me like he was looking over at the coaches saying, was that cover 3? What was that, trying to eye it up and see. So maybe he was a little indecisive on what the coverage was on that play.
Kevin Kolb now 13 of 18 for 147 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Second down and 10 from midfield. And about an 8-yard gain as Donnie Avery brings it down at the 42. 1 timeout remaining for Houston.
All of that shifting prior to the snap is trying to get the matchup that you want, right? And that's what Art Briles is good at.
It's creating matchups and also gives the quarterback a good read on what the coverage will be there. South Carolina went back to a man-to-man coverage, which is what Houston has been seeing out of South Carolina all day long. And when they go zone, it was just a little change-up.
Kind of a clock malfunction right now as Cobb is set up 3rd down and 2. The trap handoff up the middle. Plenty of room. Jackie Battle. Touchdown. 42 yards.
He's your short yardage goal line guy, isn't he? Your downhill runner there, Craig?
Yeah, he got downhill all right, but he came out of the track meet blocks, and I'll tell you where the malfunction was, Bob. The malfunction was on the South Carolina defensive line.
It's all out blitz. It's cover 0. There's no safety in the middle. There's an extra guy in the box, but they split it.
Bunched up there, you see the cutback. And again, this is a big fullback type of player that uses his eyes to get him to the hole.
Brinkley was unblocked there, but just couldn't get to the running back to make the play.
The point after is perfect. 21-20. Houston answers back to take a 1-point lead. This is a heavyweight fight here in the first couple of rounds.
6'2", 245 pounds, every bit of that. Strong, and he can run. And this is, for all the young guys out there, lift weights, be strong. He carries his pads well.
That touchdown run by Jackie Battle ties the Houston school record for most rushing touchdowns in a season. 14th rushing touchdown this year. Antoine Smith back in 1996 had 14 rushing touchdowns for the Cougars. Now a pooch kick down the right sideline. This ball's going to float out of bounds. And with 2 minutes and 5 seconds to go and 2 timeouts for South Carolina, they'll have good field position. So now Mitchell goes to work. Looks downfield. Creates some room for Rice. He's got it at the 36-yard line. A quick strike from Mitchell to Sidney Rice. Kenneth Fontenette made the stop, a gain of 28.
When a quarterback can step up through and buy himself a little extra time and really see the field, it allows you to make the great throw. Rice takes it up, running across the field. Again, it's man under. He's got deep help. He beats him. Rice beats the defender across the field.
It's the second move, the double move, the second move up top that got the free safety off of him to allow Rice to come open.
Sidney Rice now with 95 yards and a touchdown here in the first half. To the outside goes Corey Boyd. Breaks a tackle. Spins out of bounds at the 27-yard line with 1:22 to go in the second quarter.
And you know, Blake Mitchell, he's played a good game. And he had to have a good game to match Kevin Kolb and Houston.
He's throwing the ball extremely well. He's making good decisions. He doesn't have the turnover. Avoid the negative play, and you're going to be all right.
Mitchell comes underneath, has Corey Boyd, and he's inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. First down, that stops the clock. 52 seconds to go. First and goal for the Gamecocks, and they still have a timeout.
Still have time to run your entire offense. You've got 50 seconds, a timeout. Inside the 10 now, the pass attempts will probably start going towards the end zone now.
At the top of your screen goes Sidney Rice. Here comes the blitz. It's a handoff instead to Boyd. At the 5, touchdown. Corey Boyd weaves his way up the middle, and the Gamecocks take the lead back. A 9-yard touchdown run with 42 seconds to go in the half.
This is looking easy. How's this shootout going there, Craig?
It's a coming. And you know what? Corey Boyd in the backfield, when you had the amount of time they had on the clock here with a timeout, this is an excellent call to run the football. Boyd back there, defense trying to get in the end zone to protect the pass.
So Boyd with a pair of touchdowns here in the first half. And now Suckup, who has missed an extra point. Not this time, right down the middle, and it's a 6-point lead for South Carolina with 42 seconds to go in the second quarter.
Just spread the field out, one back set, and he picks and weaves his way through. Just
got the shot right to the hand. That's why he's on the bench. The helmet went right to that cast where he has the banged up hand, and right here it comes across the goal line. Helmet on the hand.
You can't like to see that kick come down to Anthony Ulrich. Although Ulrich is running a lot of yards just to get out to the 24-yard line, looking for some room. But Cobb looking for a big play before halftime. Finds a man open over the middle. Marshall down the sideline. Stays in bounds. Touchdown.
Unbelievable.
Second touchdown of the first half for Vincent Marshall. That one good for 77 yards. And Houston's tied the game with 11 seconds to go in the first half.
Most teams would kneel on the ball, get to halftime, and say, let's just move forward. Houston, we talk about their quick strike capability, believe in their offense, trust their quarterback, and they come out slinging it, and Marshall just taking it down the sideline.
I don't think Houston came into this contest with the idea of just looking good and being competitive. They went for it on fourth from their own 30, made it. They come out and they're firing the ball down the field for a touchdown before halftime.
Boy, Vincent Marshall in his career now about 3,700 yards receiving, and that will take us to halftime. So standing by the old ball coach with Todd.
Coach, your thoughts on this quick pace first half?
Well, both defenses are struggling, so our kickers cost us 4 points, but he's an excellent kicker, so hopefully we'll kick a little bit better second half.
How do you stop that quick strike offense of Houston?
Obviously not what we're doing.
Thank you, Coach.
Our halftime score, the highest scoring first half in AutoZone Liberty Bowl history. 28-27, Houston over South Carolina. Now we head to the studio. The Smith Barney halftime report standing by. Reese Davis, Lou Holtz, and Mark May. Gentlemen, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl halftime show as Leanne Rhymes performs, and we had fireworks in the first half. Plenty of them. 28-27. Houston leads South Carolina. My personal apologies for having to go from looking at Leanne Rhymes to now looking at us. Bob Wischusen in for John Saunders this week, here with Craig James and Doug Flutie. Todd Harris along the way as well. And guys, boy, it was just a pinball machine back and forth. Nearly 600 yards of total offense in the first half.
And I think when we started out this ballgame, we felt like Kevin Kolb and the Houston Cougars offense would really get things going. They have a lot of playmakers and weapons on the outside. The question for me was whether or not that Blake Mitchell would make enough plays for South Carolina to keep them in the game.
Yeah, we felt like South Carolina could run the football, but it would have to be in the pass game where they made their big plays and be able to stick it into the end zone. They've been able to do that. Blake Mitchell has avoided the interception, the negative play, and it's been back and forth, up and down the field.
But, well, Todd is standing by with something on Art Briles. Todd?
Yeah, just moments ago talking with Coach Briles, and I asked him, when you're in a 55-point shootout, what do you tell your guys at halftime? And he just rolls his eyes and said, well, he says, I'm all right with the numbers, but I'll tell you what, we're doing a lot of things that we're not used to doing, and that is namely turning the ball over. He said, if we cut down those turnovers and we play our kind of ball, he says, if we hang in there, he says, I like our chances in the end.
And Todd, it's a great point in that now Houston is +8 on the season in turnovers, but they were +10 coming in, which is, I guess, Doug Flutie, is what happens when you have a quarterback that throws 27 touchdowns and 3 interceptions.
I'll tell you what, he's done a great job all year protecting the ball. All his interceptions, they're not bad decisions. 2 turnovers did happen today. One, an interception by a defensive end, the other a fumble, but they're all right. He's still making good decisions.
And Craig, right now, say you're a defensive coordinator and these numbers come up.
Well, here you go. You're talking about the turnovers there and the points off the turnovers, but the defensive coordinators, in my opinion, need to kind of put that mindset to your defense of let's keep them in front of us. We got to keep them in front. We can't go single coverage on the outside all the time.
Make them march the ball 15 plays and see if they make a mistake.
Play action for Mitchell. Fires one over the middle and has Rice. Lost the football. Is that a catch and a fumble, or is it incomplete? No ruling as of yet. Now the officials say incomplete. Very, very close. Willie Gaston knocked it away.
Wow, this was close. I mean, it appeared from up here that he caught it and ran for a couple of steps.
Well, he's nice on his double moves to get that extra time away from him.
It's a bang-bang.
It's a close, but ruling on the field.
Good call.
Nothing so far. And remember, Art Briles has had his one challenge for the game. He cannot challenge anymore.
Incomplete. Good call.
Corey Boyd now in the game on 2nd and 10. To the outside goes Mitchell. Noah Whiteside loose into Houston territory with a first down. Check that. McKinley picks up 26 yards.
This is a nice job of taking what the defense gives you. There's so much focus on Sidney Rice, number 4, who's coming back to the inside, that it opens up McKinley on the outside. You got to be able to come off up top and see the whole thing. You had three defensive backs on one receiver.
Tell you what, McKinley and Rice have combined for over 1,700 yards receiving. That's the most in school history by a tandem.
You read your notes this week, huh? Nice job.
You didn't tell me that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That puts McKinley close to 800 yards this season. Boyd for a couple of yards to the 40. El Ash in on the stop. A transfer from Tennessee. Corey Boyd with a couple of touchdown runs. And all in all, 3 touchdown runs for South Carolina. 2nd down and 7. And now Mitchell with the play clock at 9. Drops straight back. Dumps it down to Boyd in the open field, making players miss in space. Gets to the outside and has a first down to the 25-yard line as we check in with Todd Harris.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's something, everything's old is new again. The Mad Dog defense is back. This is what the defense called themselves. This is the defense they had back in the 60s and 70s at Houston. Now, if you have a good play in the defense, they reward you with a Snicker bar. That's called a dog biscuit. If you deplete someone, lay them out, you get a Nestle Crunch bar. Now, in a totally unrelated story, for some reason, the weight on the defense has gone up this year. I have no idea why, but it's gone up.
They're not giving out.
Explain it. Real mystery.
Not giving out too many candy bars tonight right now.
No, they're losing some weight running around the field. No one's got a dog biscuit coming as Mitchell drops to throw. Again to the outside. Trapped. He threw it low and Andy Boyd couldn't scoop it up.
Well, that Mad Dog defense has they haven't handed out too many Snickers bars in this one here. Neither defense has.
No, they're a couple little puppies right now. No Mad Dogs on the defense right now. They'll come up with a big play, though. Somewhere along the line, they got to just keep fighting, keep slapping people around. The ball's going to come loose.
There's Markway Love. And he you know, he did not come into our meeting with any snacks yesterday. There were no Snickers bars and no punches.
None for us anyway.
He probably ate them before he came in.
There was a lot of food out there, though.
We just saw the defensive coordinator who took over as the defensive coordinator last year after a lopsided bowl loss. To the end zone, incomplete. Mike West had it in his hands and couldn't hold on. Perfect throw from Blake Mitchell.
Nice read by Mitchell. He had one-on-one with Miller. There's no safety help on the play. West beats him on the play, and Miller decides, I can't get there, so I'm going to undercut and go for the ball. Still couldn't get to the ball. It should have been caught.
Can't do it much better. And Blake Mitchell did it there, and he knows. Now it's 3rd down and 10. This is the 11th play of the drive for South Carolina. They are 4 for 7 so far tonight on 3rd down. And Houston shows blitz. Here they come from the blind side. The ball comes out. And the Gamecocks recover. A loss of about 3 yards. That time the all-out blitz came. And Mitchell was sacked. The ball knocked out by Ernest Miller, who came on the far side.
And, you know, there's not been a lot of blitzing, at least successful blitzes that have been done in this football game by either defense. So that might be the adjustment that you see here in the second half. If you're going to get beat, go ahead and let's try.
You got to create a negative play somewhere to stop the drive, and they just did by bringing it.
It's been a tough night so far for Ryan Suckup. Only 3 missed field goals on the season. Tonight, a missed field goal and a point after. 45 yards away. It has plenty of leg, and this one is perfect. And that gives the Gamecocks the lead back 30-28 with 9:56 to go in the third quarter.
That makes Suckup one of only 9 kickers this year to hit a field goal of 55 yards or longer. You weren't the only guy, Rudy. Read notes.
Here at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, and almost a moral victory a moment ago for the Houston defense, holding the opposition only a field goal. We haven't seen that much.
It's a big-time move. Somebody didn't get in the end zone.
There have been a lot of touchdowns scored. Suckup's kickoff this time returnable. Taken by Marshall at the goal line, bobbled it for a moment and instead thinks better and takes a knee. 1st and 10 Cougars at their own 24. And you can see balance so far for Houston tonight, at least in terms of the plays being called. Cobb back to the air, a bullet over the middle and a first down. Anthony Ulrich turns into a receiver that time and picks up about 13 more yards.
You know what this looks like? The receivers at Houston, their offense, it looks like it's starting out to be a vertical route, but then and they get the defensive back turned and then a sprint, and then the receivers break it off on the end.
Well, they've got so much speed and quickness. Both Aldridge and Marshall are small guys that have great change of direction and tremendous speed. They get those DBs running and change direction on them.
Byron Ely comes up with that last catch, and that takes us to the end of the third quarter. Only 3 points scored in the third quarter. So it's a 2-point game going to the fourth. It has been a shootout in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. It has been a fun AutoZone Liberty Bowl so far, and we are just about set for the start of the fourth quarter. South Carolina with a 2-point lead, but Houston has taken the ball from their own 2-yard line and moved it all the way out to the 38. Kevin Kolb under pressure, whips one to the near side and connects with Donnie Avery. And that catch will stand very much. And what a game we have had here in Memphis. It's a 2-point game, just underway in the fourth quarter. 2nd down and 7. Cobb off his back foot. A man was stumbling and could not make connection with Byron Ely. And it'll be 3rd down and 7.
The Houston Cougars under Kevin Kolb in 03 against Hawaii only scored 14 points in the second half. They lost. In 05 in the Fort Worth Bowl against Kansas, they only scored 3 points. So, you know what? Cobb, they talked about it being a business game and a very meaningful game for this university. They want to win this game. They got to score points in the second half.
There have only been 3 points scored so far in the second half between both teams. And Cobb faced with 3rd down and 7. 4-man rush. Comes underneath. Tipped ball. Incomplete. Intended for Mark Hafner, the tight end. Jasper Brinkley broke it up, and Houston will be forced to punt.
I think they were really looking for a 2-down territory there. I believe they were throwing the underneath ball there, looking for a 4th and short if they didn't make it and would have gone for it.
Little delay route there by the tight end releasing, hoping that the defender, it was man-to-man coverage. Usually delay routes aren't great versus man, and the defender did not leave his receiver. He stayed with him.
I tell you, the adjustment the Cougars offense made down on the goal line, I thought they should have stuck with it, is the zone read option. Mix it up. I really do. It was working.
What he said.
Kenny McKinley is back to deep to receive the punt from Justin Laird. And he calls for a fair catch and fields at his own 22-yard line. 1st and 10. Gamecocks at their own 22-yard line. Mitchell, play action. Scrambles, tucks it under, and runs for a few. Chased out of bounds by Brandon Brinkley after picking up 4 yards.
At the 26-yard line.
Well, it is a momentum moment here. South Carolina's offense going back to the ground. I know they want to run the ball. They want to keep it away from Kevin Kolb. But Houston's defense, they made a play the last time. I think it's now up to South Carolina's offensive line to take over here for them.
Yeah, take control, put it on the ground, and hammer it down their throat.
I didn't think I would say this, guys, after the first half that we saw, but the next score in this game is a big one because things offensively have bogged down a bit here in the second half. A check down as Mitchell finds Corey Boyd, and Boyd squeezes his way to a first down out to the 35-yard line, a gain of 9.
Just a nice little reaction versus zone coverage, dumping it underneath to the back. Blake has not hurt himself. They did throw the interception on the flea flicker, but it was more of a punt than anything. It wasn't a play that absolutely killed him.
And these type passes obviously are high percentage throws. You know, they're not going to mail it down the field. And
you're just waiting for one-on-one coverage with Rice before he does that.
That's Rice going to the top of your screen. Kenny McKinley in the slot. Boyd the lone setback, 2 tight ends. He gets the call and finds a crease. Boyd to the outside. First down. Out across the 45 to the 46. Willie Gaston pushed him out. 11 more yards for Corey Boyd.
The only way you have a chance as a running back to make these type of moves is to not have penetration. I mean, he's 5 yards downfield before he even sees the first defensive back come into the picture.
Yeah, and all the receivers were locked up on their men. That'd allow you to get into the second level. I'll tell you what, South Carolina is starting to pound it away on first down, making good positive gains on every first down.
What a good night it's been for Corey Boyd. 6.5 yards per carry and 2 touchdowns. First and 10, South Carolina nursing a 2-point lead early in the 4th. Quick snap, and it's a draw up the middle, and Boyd spins his way to the Houston 47-yard line for a gain of 7 more. It was a direct snap and a play fake from Blake Mitchell, and it seemed to freeze that Cougars front 7.
Again, another 7-yard gain on first down, hands it off, makes it look like it's a hitch screen or something, follows through with the motion just as a decoy. But South Carolina is running the football.
They're running it very effectively on this drive. 2nd down and 3 with 2 minutes gone by in the 4th quarter. Rice catches a hitch and picks up another first down. Needed only 4 yards and got it. So, guys, it's a different kind of football game here in the second half than we certainly had in the first half.
Well, you're seeing right now both defenses have settled down a little bit, and they've made some adjustments out there. But I think a lot of it has to fall on the offensive. You know, so many times, Doug, when you have success like that, offensively you go to sleep. You know, you wasted that bullet in the first half. Now you don't have anything.
You start to think everything's going to be easy, is what it is. You start, you know, big chunks, 15, 20, and the way you get it is emotion, enthusiasm, execution, and it's sliding a little bit. Get back to what you do well. You know, whether it's the quick rhythm hit screen type passes, get it out of your hand, run that dive option we were talking about earlier. Do the things that you do well and stay with it.
1st and 10. So far, it's been the ground attack that has gone well for South Carolina on this drive. Sets up play action, wide open at the 10-yard line, and walking into the end zone, Kenny McKinley, 43 yards. You run it, fake the run, and all of a sudden, you get man coverage.
Hammer, 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 play action, deep crosser. Actually, I believe Rice was running an out on the left side of the field. Got the corner to bite on that. The receiver coming, McKinley, across the field, gets across the safety's face, and there's nobody home on the left side of the field deep.
Here's what you're talking about. McKinley comes in motion, and I think he just kind of got lost in the muddle there. Coming across in motion, the safety in the back of the deal there, number 21, Brandon Brinkley, just didn't find McKinley as he came down the middle of the field.
See, but Fontenot was the corner on the left side of the field, and he jumped up on a route. So once you got across the safety's face, there was nobody home.
Kenny McKinley's 4th touchdown catch of the season. 2nd touchdown pass for Blake Mitchell. And Ryan Succop's extra point makes it 37-28. Carolina on top. Here in Memphis, in the lobby of the Peabody Hotel, the Ducks. They have become world famous. They get the red carpet treatment. They head back after a quick dip in the lobby fountain to the hotel elevator. And many, many tourists with cameras, somewhat inexplicable to us, show up to take pictures of them.
Doug and I have had teammates who waddled into elevators late at night like that right there.
Vincent Marshall with no chance as Ryan Succop puts it out of the back of the end zone. So now it's back to Kevin Kolb, trailing now 37-28 Approaching 3 minutes gone by in the fourth quarter. As this Houston offense, putting up points at will in the first half, have yet to score here in the second half. As Battle picks up about 6 yards.
Well, one thing that I know for sure, Kevin Kolb one of these days has an invitation to go hunting with me. We were talking in our meetings today. Look at this nice 10-point buck. Kevin Kolb showed us with his cell phone. Scored in the 140 range. Nice buck for him. Very proud of it. We both exchanged camera photos of our recently acquired bucks.
Is that what you call it?
It's a buck.
Recently acquired?
Yeah.
I'm sure that's what the buck would say too.
It'll be hanging on my wall here in about 6 months.
Loose up the middle, Rashawn Pope. A first down and then some out across the 42-yard line, a gain of 16 yards.
As Benny would
down by
say,
Savell Newton.
we got a loose cougar.
Scored in the 140 range, huh?
Yeah, Boone and Crockett scoring system down there. You know, it's about 140 inches of total length and mass, and there's a way that you measure the antlers.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But I've got Cobb beat. I had a 158 with a bow this year. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, a 158. Can't do better than that.
So his SAT score.
Cobb scrambles, trying to buy some time, and he'll buy some yards with his legs. Out of bounds at the 46-yard line, a gain of 5. It'll be second down and 5 as Savell Newton was there to run him out.
Very important that South Carolina's defense not go to sleep. They've got to stay alert because we saw it happen right at the end of the second quarter. Cobb hits Vincent Marshall, who took it the distance right going in. We thought they may take a knee.
Those two stats we just looked at, it's surprising that Houston is running the ball very effectively, 130 yards on the ground. We expected them to have all those yards in the passing game, but they've been well balanced all day.
South Carolina hasn't given up a fourth quarter point in their last 2 games, as they are right now protecting a 37-28 lead. Roy Otis for a mild gain. It will be third down and 4.
And as Craig mentioned earlier, Houston came to win this year. Being in the bowl, it's not the quest anymore. Now they need to win. It's a business trip. And they've got to, like you said before, they struggled in the second half of their bowl games, and they've been struggling so far offensively. They can't finish the drive yet in the second half.
Shovel pass inside. Harry McDaniel. And that one was snuffed out on third down and 4 by the South Carolina defensive front. So it's fourth down and still about 4 yards to go. And you'd have to think the punting unit comes out now for Houston.
I don't know. The way South Carolina drives the ball.
I'm not sure I'd give it back to them. I think this is a game here that you've come in. We've seen Art Briles go for it on fourth down twice already. I just think it's important that they keep the football. Points on this drive.
Absolute must conversion.
You are kind of hanging the outcome of the game on this play. Fourth down and 4. They're 2 for 2 on fourth down. And they won't get this one. Ulrich brought down at the 50, a gain of only 3. And Houston turns the ball over on downs. Jasper Brinkley made the stop.
Brinkley is all over the field.
You know, it's 51 on the outside who makes the play. Casper Brinkley, 51, will not allow Ulrich to get outside, which is exactly where Ulrich has done his most damage with his speed getting outside. Great job, 51, turning him inside.
And Jasper mirroring the running back coming across, filling the lane on the outside, scraping around the corner. He doesn't miss. When he gets an opportunity to bring a guy down, he brings him down. And it appeared there was going to be a crease to get the first down. It looked like everything was pretty well blocked. There was going to be a crease. He shut it down just like that.
Again, the Gamecocks still pitching a fourth quarter shutout that has now lasted 2 fourth quarters and into today's fourth quarter. First and 10 from midfield. Mike Davis for 4 yards. And guys, just from a strategic standpoint, let's go back to that decision for a moment. I mean, to me, it was kind of a first guess in saying I really thought the punting unit was going to come out. 4th and 4, that's a tough number to try and get on the ground.
But I think the answer is right here defensively. South Carolina, the way they've been moving the ball the last few possessions, have been grinding out the clock, moving the ball at will. You may not get more than 2 more possessions the rest of the game, so you needed to score. If South Carolina takes it down the field here, it was the right decision.
Second down and 6. In plus territory again, the Gamecocks holding on to a 9-point lead. Davis brought down 2 yards shy of a first down.
Early in the game, we talked about Steve Spurrier's fun and gun offense and that Blake Mitchell was going to have to direct for him. We knew Kevin Kolb was going to have a nice game. But how about Mitchell? When you look at the performance he's had in this game, he's hung in there. He's gone the distance with Kevin Kolb, one of the more prolific passers in college football history. And so hats off to Blake Mitchell for not making mistakes and for scoring touchdowns.
Great job, and a lot of his success is from pass protection and play action passes because of the running game.
A huge play for the Houston defense. Here's a chance for them to get off the field. 3rd down and 3. And they crowd the box. Back to throw Mitchell. Under some pressure. Wants the home run. Caught. McKinley. Touchdown again. His 2nd touchdown of the 2nd half. That one for 43 yards. Flags come out in the end zone for what is sure to be excessive celebration.
Great job by Mitchell, standing in there. He had pressure in his face. The offensive lineman back in his lap. Hang in there, put it up, and let your receiver make a play for you.
But I thought McKinley looked inside from his wide receiver slot position, and he looked at Mitchell, and he put his hands behind his back as if to tell him, hey, here's where we're going. I've got the fade. I can get past this guy. And he came out, and he ran the route, and Mitchell knew where he was going to be.
But with 7:39 to go in the 4th quarter, now the Gamecocks a point after away from taking a 44-28 lead. 4 touchdown passes for Blake Mitchell. That is an AutoZone Liberty Bowl record. And the extra point is good. Well, technically it's still a 2-possession game, but a lot of work to do for Kevin Kolb as he has been out-dueled so far tonight by Blake Mitchell with the help of Kenny McKinley. Those two have hooked up twice. Perfect look down Beale Street. Right now it's the Houston Cougars and their fans that have the Blues. 44-28 South Carolina with a 2-score lead. They're up by 16, 7:39 remaining in the 4th quarter, and certainly this Houston offense is more than capable of scoring a couple of times in the last 7.5 minutes. And again, unsportsmanlike conduct called, excessive celebration after the touchdown. So here's Vincent Marshall, and great field position because of the 15-yard penalty. 7:14 to go in what has been a wild AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Bob Wischusen in for John Saunders. Here with Doug Flutie, Craig James, Todd Harris, and we've had a lot of fun from Memphis. Kevin Kolb dancing in the pocket, trying to buy some time down the sideline, and complete. It'll be 2nd down and 10 with 7:08 to play.
The Houston receivers are having trouble shaking these defenders in man-to-man coverage now. They're not getting as loose as they were in the first half of the ball game. Cobb's having to hold on to the ball and move around. Houston is picking up the tempo. There it's incomplete so they can huddle up, but they are in that 2-minute tight mode where they got to score in a hurry. They're always in a hurry to score, though.
Well, again, we put the graphic up earlier. They are now the nation's #1 team in touchdown drives of 2 minutes or less. Trap handoff to Pope. And he is brought down after a gain of 5 at the 37-yard line of South Carolina. Brinkley on the stop.
Cougars offense, they do need the big play strike to go in here, but more importantly, they need to get it in. You know, they've got to get to where they've got 1-possession game.
You got to get that first score to give yourself an opportunity. Just make sure you get the points, get it in the end zone. They're going to need 2 2-point conversions.
Big play here. 3rd down and 5. You have to figure it's 4-down territory for Houston with 6.5 minutes to play. It's been 4-down territory at their own 30-yard line. Of course it'll be 4-down territory. Not necessary, though. Donnie Avery picks up the 1st down to the 27.
Little more sense of urgency here. You got to pick it up. They let the clock run on that last play.
Got down to about 10-9 before they snapped the ball.
Well, they do get, obviously, the college football clock stoppage after a 1st down to buy themselves a little bit more time.
But again, the clock is now running.
It's going again. As soon as they get them set, here we go. Now get your play in and let's get it.
It's been a much more quiet 2nd half than 1st half for Cobb. 230 yards in the 1st half, and a little shy of 70 in the 2nd half. 1st and 10. Looks to hitch one left. Has a man. Breaking free is Harvey at the 10. Hurls his way down to about the 3. It's 1st and goal. Savell Newton saved a touchdown.
The way they
they set this up, the offense is just outstanding. You look away from it, it allows just a split moment for your receiver, Harvey, to get back to the inside.
He didn't even use his offensive lineman getting out there. The linemen are too late getting out there. Harvey did it all on his own.
That hurt. You know what? When you land like that,
he wanted to get in the end zone.
First and goal at the 3. They trap up the middle. Battle. Touchdown. Well, there's the quick strike we talked about, almost as if they were listening to the two of you up here. The pace picked up quickly into the end zone, and now a must 2-point conversion.
You know, here it is, battle. Great eyes. I really like the way this guy plays behind his shoulder pass, and the offensive line for Houston stepped up on that series to get him in the end zone.
Tell you what, he scored easily, and like we've said about him all day long, he's a fullback type downhill guy.
So now the Cougars look to make it a one-possession game with 5:42 to play, trying to take the lead down to 8. Ulrich, the tailback. 3 wide receivers. It's an option. Ulrich in. 2-point conversion. And we have a one-possession game with 5:42 to play.
The formation that they come up with here at University of Houston in short yardage goal line, you always have about 5 or 6 plays that you can go with. Ulrich has the speed. Here's the option. Get the ball on the outside, allow Ulrich to get in. Now can the Cougars defense step it up and get him the ball?
Question now at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Can the Houston Cougars defense get a stop and give their offense a chance? It's a one-possession game with 5:42 to go, and we now have the second highest Liberty Bowl scoring game in history, as a couple of years ago Boise State and Louisville lit up the scoreboard to the tune of 84 points. We've got 80 on the board right now.
Yeah, that's going down. What do you think, Craig? I think it's going down.
I don't think you can keep these offenses. One of them's going back to the end zone.
That's why we were saying you almost want to try an onside kick.
A low bouncing kick again. Just about handcuffed Pope. And he's out to about the 28-yard line. Back to the ground and Corey Boyd. And a gain of about 3 yards, maybe 4 as he pushes the pile to the 33.
I say defensively, commit to the run, try to shut it down, take some chances. If you can stop them, you're getting the ball back with a chance to tie. If you can't stop them, they score on a big strike. Who cares? We'll come back and score twice. The worst thing that can happen from a Houston standpoint is to see Carolina just eat up clock, first down after first down after first down.
2nd down and 6. Again, it's on the ground. This time, Mike Davis, a yard shy of a first down. So here comes a chance for Houston to get themselves off the field. 3rd down and a long one.
You know, Houston there, they committed everyone to the run. They were one-on-one coverage on the outside, no free safety, everybody up, and it's still a positive gain getting in the 3rd and short situation.
And Houston has just called their final timeout. South Carolina has not won a game in December since 1960. They've only played 9 December games. December football used to not happen all that often in college. 3rd down and 2. A chance for Houston to survive, and a false start. Oh, they just picked up 5 free yards. As now 3rd becomes 3rd and 7.
Well, that's huge. That's a big 5 yards. But I still say Spurrier's not going to be afraid to put the ball in the air.
No, especially now. But the defense is more apt to think pass right now. You know what? 3rd and short. I always enjoyed the offenses where our coordinator felt like you go on the same snap count. You don't trick yourself. Let's just go to the line of scrimmage and let's execute.
I agree. I only mixed up the cadence when it was more than 5 or 6 yards, or if it was a 10 and 10 plus where you tried to get yourself back in the down, not on short yardage. You don't mix the cadence.
The Gamecocks 60% on 3rd down. They've averaged 6.6 yards to go. This is 3rd and 7. Mitchell to throw. He'll tuck it under. Scramble. And he won't get there. Brought down a yard shy. With 4:47 remaining. Rodney Rideau and Brandon Brinkley, or check that, Ernest Miller come up to combine on the stop. It's 4th down and 1.
Sidney Rice was on the right side, and I know that Mitchell was looking for him and wanted to go to him, but the Cougars defense, the secondary, came up and made the play. They forced Mitchell into an alternative run.
South Carolina going for it on 4th and 1. They run the play. It's Boyd. He didn't get there.
Oh, my goodness.
Wade Cole comes up to lead the charge for Houston.
Steve's like, oh, this is going to be fun now. What the heck? The old ball, I'll tell you what.
You can't do that. You can't do that. You know what? You've got an offense here that is, now you're giving them plus territory. The defense steps up, makes the play. There's a lot of pressure on that offensive line to come out and execute here. And you've got a defense that's pinned its ears back. 4th down, ego, pride, everything's on the line. I disagree with you.
When they lined up, I thought for sure they were just going to bluff it, motion around a little bit, and fake the cadence.
You can't show a defense less respect than South Carolina just showed the Houston defense, and Houston comes up with a huge stop. Now Cobb to work. A one-possession game, trying to buy some time, gets tripped up and sacked. Casper Brinkley brings him down. That's a loss of nearly 15 yards, 13 officially.
They were going for the big play there. They went with a pump fake and a double move on the outside. Nothing was there, nothing home. One at the in route, and now he's got to scramble. Nothing's there. Got to find a way to throw that away and avoid a sack.
A 13-yard loss, 2nd down. And 24. Check that 23. Shotgun set for Cobb. Just across midfield. Again flushed. And throws it away. 3rd and 23.
You know, they're just not getting free downfield. You know, Cobb's taking his look, taking his first read, second read. He's not free. Maybe could have hit a quick slant there to Marshall. But in general, guys are not getting loose like he's expecting, or he's looking to the opposite side of the field at that moment. Eric Norwood got a pressure on him there and forced him to flush out of the pocket.
2:59 remaining. 3rd and 23. Although this is probably 4-down territory for Houston. They may not try and pick up the whole 23 here. Cobb comes underneath, behind his intended receiver, Donnie Avery, incomplete. It's 4th and 23. Two minutes and 53 seconds to go. 4th and 23, and the game comes down to this for Houston.
That was the play they were looking for. The ball was behind the receiver. If the ball is in front of him, as it was late in the 2nd quarter, to Marshall, he hits him running on stride, on pace, he's going. The chance of hitting the ball down the field like that deep is not as good.
4th and 23.
Where's number 17, Marshall?
It's a 4-man rush. Cobb finds Avery well shy of a 1st down. And Houston turns it over on downs.
I don't know if they were looking for a hook and lateral type of play here or what, but you got to get up the field a little further, or at least be thinking pitch the ball because it's 4th down and you're short of the 1st.
So how about Houston's defense comes up with a huge stop after they allowed, to this point, 44 points. And now Carolina's defense. South Carolina's group comes out after allowing 36. They get the sack on 1st down, and they turn Houston over on downs.
And I'll tell you who has had one heck of a game. It was on 1st down. Casper Brinkley again. The defensive ends at South Carolina have not allowed Cobb to get outside to create extra time.
And Eric Norwood, the freshman, got in there for a couple of pressures, forced him out of the pocket, throwing on the run. Norwood is just a phenomenal talent. They're just worried sometimes that he doesn't line up in the right place, but he gets after the quarterback.
Okay. Good defensive guys. Sometimes they don't have all their pull sticks on the rack.
Pull sticks on the rack. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Took the officials a long time to put the ball back in play. The play clock just began moving.
Oh, you're looking for like pull.
I don't know. Pull stick.
You didn't go with me on that?
I got you. No,
you're thinking about your chopped beef sandwich.
There we go.
He didn't get it though.
Blake Mitchell lets the play clock roll down to 3, and it's a pitch. Corey Boyd. And today's player of the game, presented by Capital One, is Blake Mitchell, quarterback for these Gamecocks of South Carolina. What a day. 4 touchdowns, 323 yards passing.
Just a phenomenal day. And the only interception there came on the flea flicker that he was just laying out there. It was like a 50-yard punt anyway that pinned Houston down on the 1-yard line. He's made great decisions all day. You got to give a lot of credit to the offensive line and the run game and the play action.
Well, Spurrier told us that Mitchell, he's really made a lot of progress, that he's coming on. You can see the light bulb, and that at times he really feels it, sees it. He's made some nice plays.
South Carolina waits till the play clock gets down just about to 0 before snapping and handing to Corey Boyd. 45 seconds to go, and they have yet to run the play clock, so they will have to run a 4th down play, or you can go for it. Maybe he'll punt it away this time.
Are we going to punt?
Hey, I want to remind you guys, there have been 4 touchdowns by the University of Houston today, 3 under 2 minutes, 1 at 2 minutes and 1 second. This is a quick strike football team. Well, I know he's very comfortable in his position at South Carolina to be going for it on 4th down.
4th down. I said, you know, I wanted to say, I love the fact that both coaches did that.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
And went after it.
The punt away. Marshall looks for a return. Gets tripped up. 3 seconds to go. Time for one more play for Houston.
Yeah, that clock's going to start, though, on the change of possession. So
they have to be ready right at the line. Here comes their offense hustling out to be ready. Once the ball is set for play, then the game clock will roll. So they know they have to be instantaneously ready to get one more snap off. To the near side, it's Marshall. And he's got players out in front. A safety defense is out there for South Carolina. They're waiting for Marshall to arrive where they have set up a wall, and that will do it. A wild AutoZone Liberty Bowl goes to South Carolina. The first time that Steve Spurrier has ever won a bowl game with the Gamecocks. We've had a great time. Thanks for joining us. Again, our final, 44-36. Carolina over Houston. Now it's time to the Champs Sports Bowl. Here's Brad Nessler.